The Dell XPS 17 is one of the most exciting computers to come out, I think, in probably recent memory. So what comes in the box and what do we think about it? Let's find out. It's in the box, it's okay to slam it down. What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. So I'm super excited, I pre-ordered this laptop the second it was announced, and so let's not waste any more time. You've seen how much I like the XPS 15. I cannot wait to check out and see what the XPS 17 looks like. So let's crack, oh, hold on. Gotta actually have a knife to open it up, right? So yeah, I am super excited about this thing. As you may or may not have noticed, I am starting to consider Windows more and more as I talk about computer stuff. You know, normally I've been an Apple guy for a long time, but I'm really impressed with what a lot of these Windows machines are doing. So let's crack this sucker open. Ooh, it's much heavier than the 15 version, and it should be. Okay, let's open you up. So we've got, it's kind of weird to put a plastic wrapper around the box, but again, much like the XPS 15, this is really nice packaging. I think Dell has outdone themselves. I like a simple box, but elegant. It's simple yet elegant, and man, I never get sick of having like my boxes be magnetized. I love that. I love that magnet. So let's crack it open. Dell XPS. I don't know what song that was. Man, it feels. That's a chonker. That's a chonker. So what do we get in the box? We get the power cable. We continue to have 100% recycled plastics, 25% from ocean-bound sources. Dell, thanks again. We got the power cable. We got a little thing here. We can, okay. So if you remember from the XPS 15, much like that computer, this doesn't have any USB-A or HDMI ports on it, but they do give you the dongle in the box. And I really appreciate that. If you unfortunately take away a piece of functionality that we're used to having, at least give us the ability to still have that functionality, even if we have to plug in a dongle. So thank you for not making me pay, what, like 60 bucks for that. Okay, and here is the power brick, and this is a 130 watt power brick, and it's not that big. It's not, you know, I would have imagined a 130 watt power brick would be like one of those gigantic, like the one that I have on my gaming laptop in there, but it's not. It's still powered by USB-C, which is awesome. So let's take this really, ooh. So, what kind of paperwork do we get? Do we get anything cool? Warranty, safety, and regulatory information. That's boring. And I gotta clean that up later, so crap. Regulatory information sheet, XPS 17 9700. Information. Thanks again, Dell. I forgot how to plug in a laptop. Thank you for giving me a book on how to do it. I love brands that promote literacy, even if you give me a diagram to do something that all of us already know how to do. So let's check out this laptop. This is the real star of the show, right? It looks fairly similar if you remember the, ooh. Man, it does look good though. Like I love how this generation of Dell laptops look. Like they look so good. That aluminum look just looks fantastic. We still have a 2 USB-C and an SD card slot. I love SD card slots. And then we have 2 USB-C again. So I wonder, because on the XPS 15, the 1 USB-C port on the SD card slot side is not Thunderbolt 3. So we'll have to check and see if those are Thunderbolt 3. So what do we have on the bottom? We still have the gigantic cooling vent, and we're gonna crack this thing open before we're done today because I'm excited to see like what their cooling system looks like. So let's, dun-dun. That is gigantic, but it's still, I love how this carbon fiber looks. If you saw my video yesterday where I talked about like why you should buy the XPS 15, I love the silver against the carbon fiber. This looks and feels amazing. I did get, so this version, normally I get the base model of computers, but this is the version with the GTX 1650 Ti in it, because I do consider that to be like the base model of the XPS 17. If you're gonna buy a computer this big, the base model is the one with the weakest GPU in it. So this is that version. If I do end up really liking this, I might end up getting that one with the RTX Super Card. Man, but it looks good. The bezels, just there are no bezels on this machine still. So let's turn it on, see how the display actually looks. And this is huge. Like, it is a bigger device, and I've got some computers we're gonna compare it against size-wise here in just a second, but it feels pretty good. Everything feels very solid. There's no like major flex in the board here. We got the 2 gigantic speakers. The keys feel much like the keys for the XPS 15. And we'll pause because I know Cortana is going to interrupt us here in a second.
Hi there.
There we go.
I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Okay, so yes, it's got a still got the gigantic trackpad. Still feels fantastic as we're going through like the Cortana setup. And look at those bezels, like what a gigantic display to have like no bezels. So I do have the i7 processor, the GTX 1650 Ti, and it continues to feel amazing. Keys are backlit and they look good. So while this is setting up, let's actually compare. So this is the XPS 17. Here's the MacBook Pro 16. It is, because I thought the MacBook Pro 16 was a pretty darn big computer. So this is a hand's width wider than the MacBook Pro 16. And then here is the XPS 15, which is like the smallest, substantially the smallest of the of all of the options. So here is just the XPS 15 in comparison by itself. So that is, I mean, yeah, that is a much bigger laptop than the XPS 15. And one of the things that was so shocking to me about the XPS 15 was just how darn small this is for the same thing. So you could basically get the same setup I've got in the XPS 17 right now, you could get in the XPS 15, which is wild to me because it's such a small laptop. Another cool thing about this laptop is, much like the 15, this does have Windows Hello, which will let you unlock, it'll let you do like your biometrics of your face to unlock your computer, which is amazing. Hi. Well, hello, computer. After we've done all this, we're getting everything ready for you. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to have you make everything ready for me. This might take several minutes. So you don't have to wait for this. I'll sit here and wait for the computer to update. So, okay, and we are now on, it's all set up and ready to go. So that, wow, still, I just am more and more blown away by the panel that Dell put on these XPS laptops. And it looks like, maybe it's just because it's way bigger, but it looks so much better here than it did on the XPS 15. Like, this is a gigantic monitor. Like I did not get the version with the touchscreen, and this is not the 4K panel, this is the 1080p panel, and it looks so good. Man, and it continues to have like wild viewing angles. Like, I don't know of my other devices that have like, look at this. We're about as off angle as you can get, and I can still see everything crisply. I can still see the mouse cursor up here. Man, it is so good. Dell did it right. Like, I cannot give Dell enough credit for how good these displays look. Man, dang. Okay, so really quickly, let's see if we can't check out and see what check out and make sure that we have everything we're supposed to have. So we do have the Intel Core i7 10750H at 2.6 gigahertz, which is awesome. We have the 8 gigabytes of RAM installed, which we will increase in a future video. And then we should have NVIDIA. Yep, there's the NVIDIA control panel. And yep, there is the 1650 Ti. So yeah, we've got everything we're supposed to have in here, and it continues to be great. Now, people have been complaining about on the XPS 15 about their trackpad, so it doesn't feel like it's moving. I'm not getting any double clicks. It does feel a little bit though like maybe it's not as tight as the, can you hear that? That's not making a sound now. But it kind of feels like it might not be as tight as the trackpad on the XPS 15. But either way, let's crack this thing open real quick. So we'll shut it down and we'll see what the internals look like, because that's what I'm most excited about. I really like that you can upgrade the XPS 15, you can upgrade the RAM, and you can upgrade the solid state storage. So let's see, what can we do? Can we upgrade? What are the functionalities and capabilities that we can increase on our laptop? Because that's what I like. You know, having been a long-time Mac user, I don't get a lot of options for Mac. When I buy a Mac, like that's it. Like that's all I get. There is no option to upgrade or anything. So we will just unscrew these. I think you can tell I've gotten a lot more practice on this when I knew which of these heads to pick immediately. Like I knew which one was first. Okay, we've got all of the screws off. Now, if I remember correctly from getting the XPS 15 open the first time, it was a huge pain in the butt. So give me a second to crack this bad boy open. Whew, not as big of a pain in the butt as I remember. So, whew, that is a gorgeous piece of technology. So one of the things, like, this is what I'm most excited about on this computer. So this is a vapor chamber and not just heat pipes. So this should do a much better job at keeping this computer cooler than the heat pipes on the XPS 15. Now, I haven't had a problem with the heat management on the XPS 15, but I also have the base model. So I imagine if you do a little more, you could have issues. So are we able Yep, we are able to upgrade the RAM. There's the slots right there. There is the slot right there. We do have two M.2 NVMe spots. And unlike the XPS 15, this one actually has covers for them, which I like much better. If you remember when we did the upgrade for the XPS 15, we had to like buy an extra screw to hold that drive in place because there was no cover and there was no way to hold it down. So that is, I'm much happier that this has these abilities. So let's see here. So yes, let's pull you. So we can put the second SSD over here, which we will do again in a future video, which is awesome. Everything looks so good in here. You can see we've got a 97 watt-hour battery. Everything's nice and tidy. I love looking at the internals of a laptop. It's just so good. Like, it looks like the future is now. And I'm not much of a, there's the thermal pad, not the heat sink. Everybody that called me out on that, which came with it. So this is much better. Like, this seems to be already, I would classify this as much better from an upgrading perspective than the XPS 15. It comes with everything you need. It doesn't like hamper you and not give you everything you need. If that makes sense? I think that made sense. So there we go, we've put that back on, and this has been the unboxing of the XPS 17. And if you're thinking, hey, Everyday Dad, maybe this is a little too big, maybe I do like the size of the XPS 15 a little bit better, here's a video where I talk about why, like all of the amazing things and all of the great reasons to go out and buy an XPS 15. And you can find that video by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.